Hi everybody, I want to welcome back to my channel, and my name is Mary and I am an author and I am also a ghostwriter. And for many of you that don't know what a ghostwriter is or don't pretty much understand the concept of what a ghostwriter is, let me explain it to you. Pretty much what I do is I come in and I either help you complete your story, help you write your story, or help you clean up a story that you have been trying to write. I don't take any credit for your story. The only thing I take is a payment, definitely, because that is my business. And I also would like to thank you all for coming back in and joining me for yet again another video. And I do want to apologize, but not so much apologize, just pray for me, because I'm really, well, no, you don't want everybody praying for you, but definitely I really want to become more consistent on my channel. But I'm not really like the vlogging type person, and I don't do pranks, and I don't have a family channel. But I would love to become more consistent in whichever way God leads me to be consistent on this channel. But definitely, so I would like to come in and update you all on pretty much what I have been doing. This right here is a draft copy of my sister's book, but you can't really see it that well, but it's called The Big World of Hello. And we've actually just completed that book. It's a children's book from the ages of 2 to 7 years old. And basically what it does is it teaches kids how to say the word hello in the top 9 different languages in the world. And my sister Lola, she did an awesome job basically during her research and understanding as to why is it that she wanted to write the book. She wanted to write this book because she realized that, you know, we're doing more traveling and kids are doing more traveling, and basically the universal language for a lot of people that you want to your kids to be able to translate is the word hello. So if you do a lot of traveling and you want your child to understand how to say hello in 9 different languages, please, please, please check out my sister's book. We have just completed it and we have uploaded it online. You can check it out on Amazon.com, and it's also called The Big World of Hello. My mom's book, this is my baby, is called Wake Up to Forgiveness. And basically what I did was I wrote my mom's biography, and what I garnered from writing my mom's biography is that forgiveness is not just a word. Forgiveness is more or less a phrase, and it has a double meaning. Meaning either we need to be forgiven or we need to forgive, but ultimately in order to have the true forgiveness, we have to do both. Because in writing my mom's book, what I discovered is that I was not just writing about my mother. I was also writing about my father and my grandmother. And it was the way myself and my sisters were brought into this world. And I truly did not want to write that book from a negative place. And what God led me to do is He led me to write that book from a positive place. But not just a positive place, but He wanted me to tell that story as if He was sitting in front of you all telling that story Himself. So this is another awesome book that I would love for everybody to check out on Amazon, which is called Wake Up to Forgiveness, and it's with the number 2. This right here is another one of my babies. This is my 3rd book. Don't mind the condition of it, but it's called A Merciful Sinner's Breaking Point. I am actually in the process of re-uploading this book and redoing the cover. And it's a wonderful story that I pretty much came up with myself, and I kind of called myself testing God with this book. That's a story time that I'm going to give you all later, but I definitely will be coming out with that book real soon. I've actually completed, as me being a ghostwriter, I have completed a number of other stories that I have written for other authors. And as those authors start to contact me and give me more update on their stories, then I will give you more update on my channel as to how you can also go check out those books yourself. But definitely something that I wanted to talk about in this video, I wanted to talk about something that I always say, which is that I know my purpose. Well, it's not that I know my whole purpose. I know partial of my purpose. Don't mind my hands because I talk with my hands and it's just something you got to deal with when talking to me. But anyway, but definitely when I talk to a lot of people and we get to talking about, you know, our purpose in life, what it is we're doing and how we're working and going about our day to day, I say, you know, it was so weird because when my life changed in a blink of an eye on July 6th of 2016, I really did not know where or what direction I was going to go in. And I literally found myself questioning God. Like, I really started questioning God. Like, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you want me to do? But crazy thing is something that I had been doing for the last couple years and something that I had been training in for the last, I don't know how many years that I've been in college. I had been doing it, which is writing. I've always loved writing. I've always loved putting words together, making words make sense in a memorable way. I like that. I think that's going to be my slogan. I know how to make words make sense in a memorable way. Remember that. But one of the things that I have been doing is I've always, my major in college was English and psychology. So some kind of way I've always loved playing around with words, but I never saw myself writing books. Believe it or not, I never saw myself writing books. I never saw myself writing for anybody, and I never saw myself looking at writing as a career. And it wasn't until when my life changed in a blink of an eye that I started considering it. So like prior to July 6th of 2016, I pretty much had been a police officer, paramedic, and that was Mary. Like everybody that knew Mary at that time, I was a cop, or if you didn't know me as a cop, you knew me as a paramedic. But when I was involved in a car accident where the other driver fell asleep behind the wheel, he crossed the median and hit me head on. And I still remember that day like it was yesterday. I'm going to give you all that day into a story time. But as a result of my car accident, I ended up with a disability. And as part of that disability, I no longer have full use of my right leg. So that right there, if you can think about the profession that I held all my life and everything that I've always done, that really sent me into a depression. I didn't talk to a lot of people about it, but it did. It sent me into a depression to the point to where I didn't know, you know, what it was I was here for anymore, or how I was going to work to take care of Mary. So prior to me moving down to Atlanta, prior to 2016, I had written my mom's book in 2011. And one of the things that happened in writing my mom's book is that I had gotten baptized, and I started finding myself in a position where I didn't know who Mary was. It's really weird. I can't explain it, but for a lot of people that have ever been through this, then you will understand what I'm talking about. Like, I didn't know After I wrote my mom's book, it's like God started taking my life in a certain position to where everything that I used to like, I no longer liked it anymore. People that I normally hung with, I normally didn't have that energy to hang with them anymore. It was just really, really weird. It was like my life started turning in a direction where I didn't know who Mary was. So I remember this day like yesterday. I remember it was right after I had gotten baptized in 2012. And this was after I had wrote my mom's book and all of that. And I remember going to my pastor. His name is Pastor Jordan. And I remember going to him and I was like, and I set up a meeting like I wanted to meet with the pastor. And I remember going to Pastor Jordan and I was like, Pastor, I don't know, who Mary is anymore. And he kind of looked at me and he smiled and I'm looking at him like, what is he laughing at? Like, what's so funny? But he was looking and he was smiling and he was like, Mary Magdalene. And that's my name, Mary Magdalene. And he was like, Mary Magdalene. He was like, it's so funny that you're here talking to me. He said, but I have these conversations with a lot of people. And I'm looking at him like, what are you talking about? Please don't bunch me in a barrel with all these other people you talk to. Just deal with me, my circumstances only. So he was like, Mary Magdalene. He was like, the reason why you don't recognize yourself is because God has now filled you up with him. And I'm looking at him like, what? And he was like, because God has now filled you up with him. And he said that when God wants to use you, he take you out of you and he fill him up inside of you. So the reason why you no longer look or feel like yourself anymore is because now God is using you. So I'm like, okay, I get it, but I didn't get it. I got it only to a certain extent. So as I left his office that day and I went home and I started thinking about that, like, and tell you the truth, it started making me feel good to know that, God has now filled me up with himself because he want to use me. But then I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? What is it that I'm supposed to do now? Like, what next? After they tell you that, is what next? What am I supposed to do? Well, ultimately, what ended up being next is the fact that here we are in 2020, September of 2020 to be exact, and in 2014, 11, 12, 13, no, 2000, yeah, 2014, I ended up leaving my job that I had been at for almost 20 years. I left my family, my friends, everything that I had known as Mary's Circle, my comfort zone. And I moved to a state that I completely prayed to God that I didn't want to go. I currently live in Georgia right now, and I remember when I started feeling God moving me, I used to pray like, oh my God, Lord, if you send me anywhere, please do not send me to Atlanta. Do not, do not, do not send me to Atlanta. And I live in Atlanta right now. But I'm going to cut that story off right now, and I want to ask you all to continue on and continue to follow me, follow my story, follow my journey, and don't forget to check me out as a ghostwriter. I am a ghostwriter, basically, which means that I tell your story. I tell your story. You are the author of your story, but all I do is I write your story. I am not a writer that chose to write. I'm a writer that was chosen to write, meaning that God chose me, put me in this position, gifted my talent as a writer so that I can help others tell their story. So that if there's any of you out there that have thought about writing your story, know someone that is writing a story, or you might even have started writing a story, but you don't know how to complete it or bring it into fruition, definitely holler at your girl. You can find me on Gmail. That's Maxon Mary, Maxin, Mary, Mary at gmail.com. Remember, that's maxandmary@gmail.com. And don't forget, share, comment, and subscribe to my page, because my goal is I plan to continue the story. I plan to continue the story of my journey, my faith walking, how my direction changed and how God changed me. But definitely, everybody love, live, laugh, love your life, live your life, and laugh, because laughter is the best thing we can do. And have a good day. Bye.